Now, sanding's a task I don't believe any woodworker really enjoys, but that task's going to be made a lot worse if you got an old sander like this. Or any other older sander. It doesn't have variable speed or dust collection, and frankly, the sandpaper doesn't stay on there anymore, and it has a tendency to throw off towards some rather important things. So, let's toss this out. Now, most of us don't have the money to spend on a Merca or a Festool, so we're going to be stuck with something lower end. And that's what I'm going to be looking at here today. Both these sanders are below $70. This one here goes down to sale as low as $20, and frankly has a clone that's sold at the Menards that also goes on sale quite often, but not quite as often. They both have variable speed, dust collection options, but you're going to have to bring your own parts in both these cases. One more so than the other. And another big feature is this one has a soft start, which I'm not sure how I feel about. Now, without any further ado, let's get to it. Now, before we get into how they actually sand, let's look at the fit and finish. On the Bauer here, the top, front, and a little bit of the back are rubberized. Nice for gripping. It almost implies you're going to use a barrel grip with it, but I can't imagine that being comfortable for very long, because even the handle on this one's a bit big for my hands, and if I'm sanding something other than just a flat surface like a tabletop or a cutting board, it gets pretty uncomfortable if you're doing it for more than a few minutes, especially with a dust hose. And on the note of a dust hose, it has a non-standard port size, so I had to fabricable a solution by taking the dust box, which I've since lost, throwing it somewhere, which I hope I'll find it because this is going to end up being my out of the shop sander going forward. I took the port that the dust box attaches to, wrapped it with electrical tape until it would fit a 1 1/4 to 2.5 inch adapter. And that's what's on here right now. Frankly, I think it's going to be a bit of a pain to take off. But as far as dust collection goes, once I did that, it works pretty well. I don't notice any dust, and outside of having to occasionally blow dust out of the pores in the workpiece itself, I can't pick any up with a broom. Now, as far as the quality of the materials go, it is a fiberglass reinforced plastic of some kind. I'm no expert as far as figuring that out. You'll have to go to someone who uses Kazakhstan Kopecks instead of US dollars. The cable is a SJT, which means it's a thermoplastic, and it's going to be a little vulnerable to kinking. The overall length of that cable is 6 feet. The tool is double insulated, which I don't think anyone's made one that isn't in a long time, so I'm not sure why I feel the need to mention it. But this has been my primary sander for about 6 months before I got that Metabo HPT. And in that time, I've sanded a few tabletops, some hardwoods, and it does an okay job. It's not as nice as my dad's DeWalt, but $20. I spent $20 on this, so it's kind of hard to complain. Now let's move over to the Metabo HPT. Now, here with the Metabo HPT, we do have a lot of the same. We have rubberization along the top, though I think with this one, a barrel grip would actually be practical for long periods, but I still wouldn't find it that comfortable personally. The top handle is also rubberized, but on this sander, it's a lot smaller, so it's actually a good bit more comfortable to grab, and I've noticed when doing weird angles, it's a lot more comfortable, and I can do it for a lot longer. As far as the dust collection goes, out of the box, it comes with an 1 1/4 adapter. If you want to use 2.5, like most shop vacs, you're still going to have to bring another adapter. I've got mine taped on here because I had one that was wrong. And as far as how well that dust collection works, you're not going to be picking anything up as long as you've got it hooked up to a shop vac. Other than, of course, the sand in the wood pores. My goodness. Now, the dust collection on this attaches in a bit of a weird way. Instead of just using a round port, even if it is a non-standard size like the Bauer, it has a little slotted mechanism here for this square attachment. I'm not sure if that affects it in any way, but it does mean it's going to be a lot harder to find adapters if for whatever reason this one breaks. This one's got a 2.5-inch adapter taped onto it because I used a wrong one, so it doesn't actually look like this. So I slot it on here like that. If I can actually get it to work. Make sure it's fully slotted on, and it seems to work just fine. Now, of course, just like every sander these days, right out of the box, it does come with a dust bag. And I'm actually taking this out of the bag the first time because, frankly, these are useless unless you're going to be working somewhere where you don't have a shop vac. Then it serves a percentage of a usefulness. But, as you can see, it works just like the dust collection adapter. Except, you can actually use this as an adapter as well. Push this on here, and then it's got the little slots. So let's pop this off. And slots on. I'm sure this would help a little bit, but frankly, these aren't very good for your lungs. And if you've got the shop vac, you're going to notice a lot more dust getting on the ground with this. Let's put that back. Now, let's do some sanding with them. I have a shelf here that I need to sand 7 coats of polyurethane off of. And then after that, sand it down to a fine 120 so I can put 7 more coats on it. As well as I've got a stack of 4 cutting boards here that all need to be made perfect. So, that should give me enough of a frame of reference to compare the two in order to give you guys some good notes as far as how well each one works. Without further ado, let's switch over to mindless video of me sanding things while I talk. I forgot to mention this just before I got started sanding, but I'll be using 2 grits for all of these projects with both sanders. I'll be using silicon carbide 3M60 grit and zircon Bauer 80 grit. Now, on those cutting boards, I might go up to 120, in which case I'll be using Performax red resin. You'll note as I get higher in grit, I get cheaper. Because the higher in grit I go, the longer it's been since I bought sandpaper.
Rolling and action.
Now, when we got started there, you saw that this sander wasn't dust collecting all the best. That's because I forgot to turn the vacuum on, not the sander itself. Once I had it turned on, it worked just as well as this one. I prefer this sander in just about every way. The handle is a better fit for my large size hands, and I can see using the barrel grip on this one if it was at a strange angle. The soft start, I didn't think I was going to like it, but after I got used to it, when you're turning it on the workpiece, it's a lot easier to manage. You don't have to worry as much about keeping a tight grip. The cord is a lot easier to wrap around a vacuum hose to keep the two together so you're not strangling any little animals in your shop. Though, to be frank, you'd probably want to do that. But, all that said, unless this sander isn't on sale for that $20 that at least once a month it's on sale for, and at least once every 2 months that its evil alter ego, the Performax sander from Menards, is on, this is the better value by a long shot. Everything I like about this one does not justify an extra $40 that this one is. Granted, when this one's on sale, it is at the same price as this one when it's not on sale. But when this one's on sale, it's a $20 sander. On a $20 sander, it's pretty easy to get by that you need to fabric cobble your dust collection. And the way I did that is taking the dust box off and wrapping the tube in electrical tape until an 1.25 inch adapter fit. It's very easy to get by the short 6-foot cord that's made out of cheap thermoplastic. And it's even easy to get by that big handle that you gotta grab in weird ways. So, if you're on a budget, which if you're looking at these, you probably are, this is the better deal by a long shot. Unless you're going to be spending a lot of time in your shop, despite being on that tight budget, you should go with this Bauer here. Or its superhero alter ego, Performax. What a name. So, y'all have a good day. God bless.